Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Hey, Ostamura, welcome. It's been a long week. I'm actually ready for it to be over. It's been a long week. Never, well, I can't say never, because I do video game beta and alpha testing on the side as part of my life as well, but very rarely have playing video games felt like work to me. That doesn't really happen very often. I enjoy it so much. This week was work. It was a lot of time invested in getting ready for today, and it came at the expense of a bunch of other things. So I'm hoping everything goes well today. And because I'm not doing that again. I'm not a dev, no. I have a regular everyday job that has nothing to do with video games. But back in college, which was a long time ago, I did a closed beta test for, at that time, a very little known game called Marathon, for a very little known developer called Bungie. And that, back then it was, you mail in applications and that sort of stuff. Actually, I guess we had just gotten to email applications because the first conversation I had with him was via email. And that kind of kicked off me doing testing services on the side professionally. So I've done beta test closed, alpha and beta testing, as well as open versions, just like everybody else does, for various publishers and developers over the years. And some of it is not very enjoyable. You're doing it just to either get your name in the door or get a contract in hope of future work with that developer. But a lot of that stuff is now, it's not nearly as plentiful freelance now as it used to be in the past. In the past, it was just individuals. Now you really need to, unless you've been doing it for 25 years, you really have to be part of a consortium, because the companies either do that testing in-house now, or they hire a company that has third-party consultants working for it to do that testing. Developers don't ever just take applications from random people to go do testing for them anymore. So it's, there's, like I say, me and several other people who are my age are in fairly unique situations with that, but we still have to be part of overarching companies to do it. And yeah, sometimes the QA work is not fun. It involves playing games that I have absolutely zero interest in. The contracts can be fairly demanding, especially for the larger developers, the AAA studios. The hour commitment and the reporting commitment can be somewhat onerous sometimes. So sometimes that feels like work, but I don't need to do any of that. I like doing a lot of it, but I hate doing mobile games. So when a contract comes up from a developer for a mobile game, but they're also developing a PC game or something I want to play later, I hate myself for taking contracts like that. but yeah, this week felt like that. It felt like I was required to squeeze in a bunch of hours of play to meet a deadline. And this week has just been rough. It's been a rough week. Yeah, Summer, then you know what it's like. It's some jobs, some projects are easier than others, and some don't feel like work at all. Some of them are the exact opposite, and you don't ever want to do QA again after you're done. It just kind of depends, and the pay is always horrible. Well, I mean, horrible is a relative term. At the end of the day, you're getting paid to play a video game, but the work involved is so much more than just playing the game. So yeah, Lord Henry, I hope it's going to be interesting what I have planned today. It's going to be a weird one, I'm not going to lie. Starting off the first hour or so is probably going to be weird. And then we're going to get back on track. I've done so much testing this week outside of my honor mode playthrough that I've learned a lot, and I want to explain some of that to kind of explain how things worked in the first 5 episodes, or first 6 episodes that we went through, because I've learned a lot of things this week. Oh, Lord Henry, I absolutely agree. They are an extraordinarily underrated either department in a developer's company, or as third-party consultant, not employees, but third-party consultants work in the umbrella, under the umbrella of a larger company that gets hired to do that for a developer. There are so many things that we would like to offer feedback on from a gamer perspective, all up front, that make the game when it comes out so much better. And people who skip on that, you see what their game looks like. Every game today has a day one patch. Every single game. It's just how the industry works. Back in the day, that was not possible when games came on floppy disks and you bought them in a store or something like that. None of those things were possible. So in the past, there was a lot bigger emphasis on QA up front before the Golden Master press. And for those who don't know, the Golden Master, the GM, is the final version that you are going to write to the discs or the CDs before you send it out to stores. It's an old term. It's not thrown around much nowadays because you don't really have that anymore, but it means the final version before you go to launch. And back in the day, there was a lot more upfront QA done because you didn't have the opportunity to push out updates. The internet the internet wasn't really a thing. It was, the public internet was brand new when I started college. So now there's a lot less emphasis from some developers on upfront QA because they're going to rely on you complaining about it in forums or through automated bug reporting that pops up when a game crashes or something to do all of that for you. And that, I think, has been a huge mistake in the shift in the gaming industry. Every game's going to have bugs and glitches in it that need to be fixed. Minimizing those on day one is the difference between having a successful, not just launch, but that first impression can carry you through months and months of playtime for players, and reviews, and all of that sort of stuff. Versus having a launch that is so bad that people don't ever want to pick it up and you lose money on it. And that's the difference between a game like Baldur's Gate 3, which with its huge early access program, where I'm sure they did in-house QA testing for it. I was never on a notification list from Larian for closed testing. But allowing gamers to test your game in early access before having to purchase a full version of the game is very, very useful. Having to purchase a game and then finding out it is full of bugs and glitches and holes is what makes you lose money on your endeavor. And I think that shift in the gaming industry has been really bad. Larian did it right, but you have to be able to have that extensive early access period if you're not going to do really extensive in-house QA testing or contract QA testing beforehand. Because yeah, you don't want to pay for a game and find out it's unplayable. Let's go to Cyberpunk 2077. So yeah, Nostamuro, some places do pay okay. House QA is normally paid quite a bit better than contract QA is. And I've never done in-house. It's all been umbrella contracted through a company I've been a part of, or freelance. Hey Philip, welcome. Glad to have you here. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 7 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jarval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, today, as I mentioned in the description for this live stream, today's going to start out weird. As you remember from last week, that we made a huge mistake because I wasn't paying attention to a list of time-sensitive quests I had, and that list was also incomplete, and it really ruined a lot of content going forward in the Honor Mode playthrough. So much that I didn't want to leave it that way. So I spent this week doing two things. One, I deleted that old Honor Mode playthrough and I started a new one from scratch, and I played it all the way back to the same location. And that took a lot of time this week, but also concurrently with that, I started a brand new Tactician playthrough where I can save and reload and everything else so I can do testing as I go, because so much has changed in Act 1 since I played it last that I need to be able to test things that I want to do before I get it into Honor Mode. So I spent a lot of time this week playing this game and to reach a deadline of today's live stream. And I've gotten almost all of it done. There are some things that we're going to do here, and I think we're just going to jump right in and better explain it here. So I'm going to start off. This is not my Honor Mode playthrough. This is my Tactician playthrough, and I'm loading up a save that was fairly early on in my playthrough, because in the Honor Mode playthrough, I was so used to doing this sequence of events that I did it without thinking, and I should have saved it. until the live stream so I could illustrate it. But since I didn't, I'm going to load up my tactician playthrough here. We're going to teach you how to do this sequence of events, and then I'm going to move over to the honor mode playthrough, and we're going to do some housekeeping and some prep work for the Risen Road. So here we are inside the grove. This is right after we have entered the grove. You see, we haven't even progressed into the grove at all. We had our encounter with Zevlor and Aridin here, and you can do this immediately after that is complete. So we had our fight outside the gate, out here. We walked in, we talked to Aridin and Zevlor here. They've now walked off, and this is where I normally do this, because I want to have this advantage as early on in the playthrough as I can. Now, depending on who you have in your party, if you have Lae'zel in your party, you can do this without any prep work. If you have Gale in your party or somebody else, you can also do this, but you need to make sure that you've taken Mage Hand, or you need to have some sort of summon, whether that be through a Warlock or through the Find Familiar spell as a Ranger or something like that. You need to have a summon available to you to do this. Okay, so I go into hiding here, and I'm going to use Gale. It doesn't matter if you use Lae'zel's or, you know, anybody's summon you want. And I'm going to cast Mage Hand as far down here as I can. I'm going to immediately separate the Mage Hand, and I'm going to take control of it. And I'm going to move it down here. Now the Mage Hand is on a time limit. It only works for 10 turns. So when I get down here, I'm going to unarmed strike the Strange Ox. This is going to aggro everybody within visual range. Wyll acted and shot Eldritch Blast at the Mage Hand and killed it. Okay. Now, if you noticed, the attitude drop that you got in the village was against the Mage Hand. Okay? But that's not really true. The Mage Hand, even though it was separated, was cast by Wyll. So the negative attitude here in the grove has been applied to Wyll. And this is what's important, is that whoever you use to cast the summon or the Mage Hand is the one that you need to then take with you to go speak with the Ox. Now, I use Wyll because Wyll has a +1 in Charisma, whereas Lae'zel has a -1 in Charisma. And you'll see why that is here in a second. But I'm going to break my group, or I'm sorry, Gale. And you can use Wyll for this if you want. It doesn't matter. The only thing that it affects is what you're going to see here in a second. Right away. So now I'm going to bring Gale in here. I'm going to leave the rest of the party back there. You can bring him if you want, because nobody's hostile anymore. Now that the Mage Hand is dead, no one is hostile. Okay, the attitude drop is still there, though. And you do not have to have Speak with Animals when you do this. We're going to go talk to the Strange Ox with whoever cast the Familiar, or the follower.
This individual doesn't seem particularly fond of you. Perhaps a gift would improve their sentiment.
And this is the important thing here, is that once an NPC's attitude drops below a certain level, it won't want to interact with you at all. However, if you're able to give it a gift, then you can give it either items and or gold to increase its attitude and bring them back to a point where they will interact with you. Now, the thing about the Strange Ox here is that if we give them a gift,
now's your chance to offer something worthwhile.
It opens up his inventory. And in his inventory is the Shapeshifter's Boon ring. Now, we saw this in Act 3. If you interact with the Ox in Act 1, you interact with him in Act 2, and then you carry him through as the apple in Act 3 into the lower city, he gifts you the Shapeshifter's Boon Ring. Okay? However, we have a barter menu here, and we can drag this ring into the barter menu, and the only thing that matters between whether you've chosen Wyll or Gale is your charisma is affecting your persuasion number here. The higher the charisma, the more of a discount this is going to be at. Now, I don't care about raising his attitude with Gale. That doesn't matter to me in the slightest, because it's individual based, so I can come back here with my bard and talk with him and interact with him just fine. So I don't care about raising his attitude, but I want to be able to barter for this. And I'm going to balance offer. That's going to take the gold out of my bard's inventory, put it in Gale's inventory, and then click balance offer again, and it balances it out. The charisma is just how much you're going to have to barter to equal out the price of it. That's it. So then you click barter, exit out of this, and leave. And now the Shapeshifter's Boon Ring is in your inventory. And you can move it wherever you want. And now you can have access to the 1d4 bonus for all checks really, really early on in the game, which can be a massive benefit, especially early when you might not have a whole lot of inspirations to work with, especially as you're going through and talking to people here in the Grove and trying to make persuasion checks. If you fail them, you may run out of inspirations and not have any more rerolls. This gives you a much better chance to be able to pass all of those. So I wanted to illustrate that. I had already done it on my honor mode replay, and I had forgotten, really, because it's kind of second nature to get it here now. And I had kind of forgotten about it. But that's a very important thing for you to do when you start out your playthrough. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just blank this out real quick, and I'm going to load the honor mode playthrough.
Can't keep the goblins out forever. This is no fortress, and we're no warriors.
Okay, so we'll just wait for this to load up here, and we'll do some explanations and a little bit of housekeeping work, because there's some stuff that, a couple of things I missed, and something I want to show you that even after over 1,200 hours of gameplay, I didn't know was in the game. So here we are back in our honor mode playthrough. Okay, you can see that we have the mark of the shifter applied to multiple characters. We have the Idol of Sylvanas. We've gone through all of that. We have worked our way up to completing the beach, Arabella, the Idol, all of the stuff inside the Blighted Village. We've picked up all the quests associated with that sort of stuff. We did investigate Kaga and get the Pale Oak from her. And all of that sort of stuff was the exact same. Okay, so if you look at our map, completely opened up everything inside the Grove. I've completely opened up everything out here, and have been through all of the Blighted Village. We have not crossed the bridge into the Risen Road. We have gone into the Sunlit Wetlands just to get the evidence to expose Kaga, but nothing else. We have not been to the Goblin camp. All right. So, but everything else has been completed, with the exception of 2 things that I know I missed and 1 thing that I want to show you. So first, we're going to
find a way forward.
Venture back into the Grove here. We're going to take a right. because I'm pretty sure I didn't do this. Oh, I did do it. My last honor mode playthrough, I did not come down this way after killing the bugbear up here. I did not come down this way. So I wanted to mention that there is a wooden chest here, a dirt mount that you can find. So don't miss it. I've already found it in this playthrough, but wanted to illustrate that it's here, so that when you finish this, you can just come right down this way, encounter it, make your way back toward the entrance to the grove. Okay, so that's the first thing to illustrate. The next thing to illustrate is I am almost positive inside the Blighted Village that I forgot to search the house that was rockin' and I came knockin'. I had the encounter here with the ogre and the bugbear, but I don't think I searched. I did not search inside. So I want to go in here and search the inside of this. There's not a whole lot in here, but again, from the completionist side of things, I'm going to search everything I can.
I'll take that.
Okay, and I don't
Whatever
believe
I'm ready.
How
you can cast
Never a dull moment.
Speak with the Dead on this corpse, but we'll
am I to
check.
do?
The corpse has nothing to say.
That does activate Speak with the Dead for us.
All right. What now?
Okay, now the last thing is here in the Blighted
Counsellor
Village
down.
as well. And I had no idea that this was here. In all of my playthroughs, I have never once found this. I found this in my tactician playthrough and haven't come back here to look at it. Up here on the roof of where you fought Lump, you make your way across here. There's a room. There's this little tower up here. If you go inside this room, you're going to get a perception check. You can search the floorboards here, and you're going to find a handwritten note. Okay. Dear Flora, happy birthday. I know I finally finished a painting, and it's not just any painting. Does it look familiar? I'll give you a hint. It involved me getting down on one knee and you making me the happiest woman alive. I'd best go. I hear silence in the classroom next door, and that is never a sign. Amanda. Okay, you have a child's drawing here. You can examine this, and you can see more of it. But a child's drawing of a happy sunlit scene here. And over here is just a book you can pick up. You can read it. It's just a comedy book about drow. But the painting that she is talking about is there. Or not that painting that she's talking about. But this painting is one of a set. And that you're going to find portraits of throughout the game. And all of these are references to the Divinity series of games by Larian. And we've picked up a bunch of portraits and paintings off the walls before of other characters inside the Divinity games, and this is just another one that I had never known was here. But you can pick it up just like you can all the others, and you can go sell it. So, again, something very interesting that I'd never encountered before in any of my playthroughs was this little room up here. And I was shocked to see it. I did my attacking from up here like I normally do, and instead of turning right to go down the ladder, for some reason I turned left, and I noticed this door, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a room over there. And when I went in, I found the whole thing. So just something else I wanted to point out in the game. So that takes care of the quick housekeeping things. I wanted to talk about the two trigger events that caused us so many problems in our first honor mode playthrough. The first is Alfira. We had to knock Alfira out 3 or 4 times or something like that, and had the grove go hostile on us once temporarily. And I did a lot of testing off stream to figure out what triggers Alfira. And I was actually surprised, because almost all of the guides tell you that what triggers Raphael is talking to Kaga in the Emerald Grove. That is entirely false. That has absolutely nothing to do with it at all. The only thing that triggers Alfira is crossing this bridge into the Blighted Village. You do not have to cross into the Blighted Village. As soon as you cross the bridge onto the other side, Alfira is going to appear at your next long rest. I know that because I tested this a dozen different ways. I came right out of the fight here. Hey Eric, welcome. I came right out of the fight here. I haven't even gone into the grove yet. Hadn't even walked through the gate. And I wanted to cross the bridge because I thought I needed to do that in conjunction with talking to Kaga. So I wanted to get it out of the way first. I walked over, I crossed the bridge, came back, and when I got back here, I wanted to refresh my action economy because I was low after the fights I had had. So I took a long rest. I hadn't even been through the gate into the grove yet, and when I took a long rest, Alfira spawned at my camp. I tested it a bunch of different times. You have to have the fight to, well, you don't have to. You can enhance leap and that sort of stuff to bypass the fight if you're very, very careful about it. But once you have the fight here, the thing that triggers Alfira spawning is crossing this bridge. So keep that in mind. Once you cross the bridge, then you need to go knock her out before you take a long rest. Okay. Now, Raphael. What triggers Raphael? There's also a lot of speculation about this, and again, a bunch of the guides were wrong. There was one that I found that was right. And comments in Redditor posts, not the main post, but in replies to the posts, gave some speculations that I tried to follow up on. And I figured out what spawns Raphael. Raphael spawns as soon as you follow up on any Find a Cure quest. Now, what that means is that if you skip talking to Healer Nettie and you go to the Priestess, as soon as you talk to her and that quest completes, Raphael will spawn at one of the 5 locations. If most often, though, what's going to happen is you're going to talk to Nettie first. It doesn't matter if you talk to Kaga. I walked right in and skipped talking to Kaga. I mean, you have to have the cutscene, but I didn't talk to her after that. It doesn't matter if you've crossed the bridge. or not, none of that matters. What matters is completing any of these quests here. If you don't complete any of them, Raphael is not going to spawn until he spawns in your camp during the mandatory rest at the end of Act 1, before you go into Act 2. Okay? So, to trigger him, go talk to Nettie, complete that quest, and then as soon as you've done that, he is going to spawn randomly. It's not guaranteed to be at any of those locations. He will spawn randomly at one of 5 locations. The first one is where we saw him last time. Right here at the corner, just under the archway, or just past the archway inside the Emerald Grove. It's not guaranteed that he spawns there, but as soon as you come out of here after talking to Nettie, immediately break your party right here and send somebody up here and see if he spawns. If he does and the conversation starts, then you can attack him from afar with one of your other party members. Okay? If he doesn't spawn there, the next location is at the top of the ladder here at the Harper Stash. You can send one party member up there, leave everybody else down here. When he spawns, he's going to spawn almost at the edge here, and you will be able to ranged attack him from down below. From about there. You'll be able to hit him. You don't even have to hit him. If you miss him, he will disappear because he's pretty hard to hit. The third location is right here by this bush as you're crossing the bridge to get into the Risen Road. Okay, so if you send somebody to those 2 locations and he's not there, the next location to try is right here. I actually found him right here in this playthrough, but he can be here at the Blighted Village. Okay, this one's really easy to do. There's nobody around, so it's easy to find him. The 4th location is actually inside the Shattered Sanctum. You can find him in the Goblin camp here, and he's a little bit more difficult to deal with in this location here, but you can find him here. And then the last normal spawn location is in the Saloonite Outpost. So if you've gone through the Goblin camp and you didn't see him inside there, you didn't spawn him in there, if you travel into the Underdark down the ladder inside the Goblin camp, he will be waiting for you in the Underdark in the Saloonite Outpost. Alright? But there are multiple ways to get into the Underdark. So if you didn't spawn him in any of those locations, and you don't ever come back to any of those locations, at the mandatory rest before you go into Act 1, he will be in your campsite. Okay? And that's what is going to happen for us. Since we didn't have the conversation with him, but he did spawn, he's not going to spawn at any of these 5 locations now. But the conversation has not been completed. So what's going to happen is he's going to appear in our camp at the end of Act 1, and that is where we are going to get the Helldusk armor from him. When he's in our camp. Right? So that brings us up to date on all the testing I did. And how things have changed.
Can't give up now.
In this playthrough. I did get the Shapeshifter's Boon ring. And I did spawn Raphael so that I could interrupt his conversation. Those are the 2 things that that are different in this playthrough than the previous ones. Everything else is up to the same point. So now we are going to do some prep work here for the Risen Road. Joaquin's Rest here is a buggy mess. It has been a buggy mess ever since early access, and the reason is because of Larian's decision to rely on the fire mechanic, and not just fire. They've actually made it realistic in that fire that spreads. And that is what causes all sorts of problems with Joaquin's Rest. You are on a time limit. Once you spawn Joaquin's Rest, you can't take a long rest. If you do, the entire place will burn down. And you'll miss out on quests. And then once you start it, and you get into certain rooms, those rooms are on timers as well. And we want to maximize our chances of being able to do something right at the very, very start of our entrance into Joaquin's Rest. You do not have to do this. I will be the first one to admit that it is slightly dangerous, but I want to try and illustrate it here. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The only thing that I'm going to miss out on is the choice of the 3 lightning charge weapons if it goes south. Or I just miss out on getting to pick up the item. One of those 2 things. So I want to try and illustrate it. I've done it in testing several times. I think I've got a pretty good idea of how it's going to work out. And I want to give a shout out, and I'll put it in the description, because I first learned of this method from a very small streamer like myself, called Ecclesi Avici. I learned of the honor mode run through this and how he did this. I've modified it a little bit and kind of expanded it a little bit. But this gave me the ideas on where to start. But to do that, to maximize our chances, we're going to again be using command drop. And command drop's wisdom based, and it's going to start out at 55%. I want to get that up to 60%. It only adds another 5%, I know, but that 5% is 5%, and if I fail it, the chances of me landing it and succeeding with picking up the item get harder and harder as I go. So to do that, I am actually going to head to the Goblin camp, but I am going to do nothing in the Goblin camp. Okay, so we're going to head out. We're going to meet Saza. And we're going to cross the bridge. Here's Saza waiting for us, just like in our last stream.
I'll tell the gods what's what.
Okay, she's going to follow up and let us into the main gate here.
Well, look what the rat dragged in.
Can it? I know something Ragslin will want to hear.
Yeah? What's that?
I've been in some druid's grove. This one sprang me. Now move over so I can tell Ragslin myself.
Hold on. Where are the raiders?
Dead. Every last one.
Ragslin's drow friend won't be happy to hear that.
She'll be happy enough when I tell her where them looters is holding up. Let me through.
Hold on now. Is it true what Saz says? You helped her escape that grove? Then behave while you're inside. Our people don't mind it one bit.
That's enough out of you. Come on. Gotta let the drow know where them looters is. We'll be heroes.
Okay, so now we have access to the grove, and again, we're just going to follow her in, and we're going to skip everything outside.
presence is irresistible. You recognize the overwhelming authority that you've used on others, only infinitely stronger, and turned against you. Your vision clouds, leaving you in a dark, featureless shadowscape. Nothingness in every direction. Then there are 3 figures before you. An armored male elf, exuding power and command. A handsome younger man with a quick, easy smile. And a pale young woman with even paler eyes.
These are my chosen. They speak for me. Aid their search for the prison, and you will be worthy to stand beside them in my presence.
You feel energy pulsing from the artifact, lifting the pain from you, pushing the voice away.
My power grows. My forces gather. The reckoning draws near.
Don't give me that look. I don't know what just happened any more than you do. We should keep going.
The voice is gone. Muted by this Gith relic. Why does a half-elf carry it?
I don't know. Not exactly. All I know is it's important I get it back to Baldur's Gate. At any cost. My home. The cloister of Shah followers. Hidden in the city. A group of us was sent to retrieve the artifact. Now I'm the only one left. I can't afford to fail. There's nothing more I can tell you. All I remember is that I have to get back to my contact in the city.
I know those symbols. Githyanki runes. Ancient as Vlaakith herself. You stole that from my people.
Yes. And a lot of my people died in the process. I won't fail them. Not after what I saw your kind do to them.
A powerful artifact indeed, to have caught the attention of so many. Not least the Absolute itself, the 3 figures in the vision, the Chosen are searching for it. With the cultists' aid, it will not be long before they find it. Before they find you. You have evaded them so far, thanks, it seems, to the artifact itself. But how long can such protection last? Shadowheart has made her position clear. She will see that it is taken to its destination. At any cost. No doubt the Githyanki will seek to reclaim that which is theirs. But you still do not know what it even is.
For now. But any crimes against my kin will be answered for in time.
I just saved you. Keep that in mind next time you want to air your grievances.
Okay, and even if Shadowheart is not in your party, that cutscene's going to trigger here. This is a change that I was unaware of in Act 1 when I came through here the first time in the Autumn Road playthrough last time. But yes, it's going to trigger here when you come through here, and even if Shadowheart's not with you, the artifact will teleport to you. So now, again, we're just going to make our way all the way through. When we come in here, the Owlbearer is here. We've taken a long rest after we dealt with her mother. Brat's here, Volo's here. None of this matters.
Or be you beheaded. Goblet Bar. a stranger, you know.
Delicious. I doubt these goblins care much for their...
Seluna. As if mingling with a horde of goblins wasn't bad enough. Let's do what we have to do, then get out of here. Quite the understatement, but yes. Let's not linger in this place any more than necessary.
So she recognizes this as a Selunite temple, and Saza's again waiting for us here.
Oi! Ain't no party in here. Shut it, Graw. Olak cleared us. Got a visitor for the drow, I do.
My arse. What's a true soul want with any mate of yours?
Private business, that is. Raiding business. But if anyone wants a piss pot guarded, we'll call.
Just get your friend branded proper. Right, Sazza? Got better things to do than...
No, you don't. Come on, then.
Bloody
Okay, and now we're going to have access in here, and sometimes these doors bug out. She'll walk through, they'll close again, sometimes they'll stay
so
open.
Much fun that those thieves almost got
So
lost.
open it up and make your way in here to the Shattered Sanctum. Now, Raphael is at the top of this ladder. If you haven't met him previously, Priestess Guts here in the middle. Again, we don't care about any of that. And we're going to have Raphael pick the door here. Or have Astarion, sorry, pick the door here. We can see how big a benefit the Mark of the Shifter is. That was without any guidance or anything. Okay, and now we're going to make our way in here. Okay, now you have a couple of different things you can do here. You can talk to Palma here if you like. You don't have to. Why was that hide check done?
Breathe deep and move.
Okay, you can just sneak your way past her.
What's that?
That's just a perception check for the other way to get in here from the outside. And once we get into this room, we can come out of stealth. Okay.
They should all be
And you recognize this room here. So we're going to break our group and we're going to
Can be turned.
work the runes here. So that you're all full moon at the top and all
Go in to see the bottom.
new moon at the bottom, and that will open up the door. You can also perceive the lever over here, if you would like, that will open this door as well. And we're going to head into the Underdark.
Here we go.
Now, the Underdark is not a separate region. like the mountain passes.
Do we have to spend so long poking about down here?
That's a good question, Lord Henry. I'm not entirely sure if you can or not.
You've only just
It's something is interesting to check.
nostalgic.
So what we're gonna do is head up here to the top.
By all means, return topside. You could use the cover.
And we're going to get a Minotaur that spawns. I'm going to go into turn-based mode here and just try and help this out because I'd like to keep the gate as healthy as possible here. So actually, let's start this with
What a day.
Astarian.
Moving.
That was a mistake. Well, I'm gonna have to pass it anyway.
Just like old
Okay. Almost let him get too close there. He's outside of range there. That's too bad.
I wonder what the next move is.
And I'm not going to waste any action economy on this. So, I mean,
Let's try
spell
this way.
economy.
Assume nothing.
I'm just going to get in a round of attacks here. And if they hit, they hit. But I would prefer to have him not actually land an attack that damages the gate. If he does, he does. It is what it is. Okay, so he did. He managed to land it. But only one. So
More effort than a pit of spikes.
we'll still be okay.
Credit where it's due.
Okay, so now here, two things. If you have Enhanced Leap with you right now, you're not going to take any damage out of this. You can just jump far enough out here that you don't have to worry about it. I don't have Enhanced Leap on
Would be a terrible
anybody
shame
here.
to lose
I
it
have
forever.
Lazel's Githyanki, but I need to pass a persuasion check down there where we're going to go. So I'm going to cast Featherfall on myself, and I'm going to leave everybody else here. And I'm going to jump down here. I'm going to take 2 attacks.
How much farther can I go?
Okay, so I got away with only taking 1.
Friendly-looking shadow. On my way.
Now I'm going to make my way up this way.
What the? This stuff,
We're going to get the quake from the bullet. Featherfall is still active.
Careful. Even the mushrooms down here can't be trusted.
Whoops. Okay, that's going to take out most of the torch stocks. Then we're going to go deal with these real quick
Walk in death.
since we're here. We're going to get rid of the Timask. We're going to leave the 2 torch stocks standing for now. Now we're going, because right here we have some items that we want to pick up. We're going to wait for this last set of Timask to go away. There it goes. And we're going to enter turn-based mode. Because picking up items does not cost a turn. Now we're going to make our way to the gate here.
You are swallowed by a chorus of turbulent music. Through one creature sing many voices, the harmony of an entire collective.
Sovereign, she has come. She is here.
The choir fades. A single melody rises above the others, brassy and commanding.
I am sovereign.
You see a vision. Your lifeless body wrapped in fungal tendrils. The Sovereign is threatening you.
State your purpose.
Here's the persuasion check. There is an intimidation check you could make if you brought Lae'zel down here.
Fungal roots weave through your mind, seeking your true intent. Then the Sovereign drones a new melody, cautious but welcoming.
Descend to me. Let us speak in flesh.
The persistent music coaxes you forward. The Sovereign expects you.
Okay, so now we have access to the Myconid colony. We want to make sure, while we're here, that we get the waypoint. And we're going to go talk to Blurg. He has an item that we want.
Ah, a visitor. You're a welcome sight. But let us observe the customs of the locals.
The scholar's brow tenses. His voice spills into your skull, the spores connecting mind to mind.
Blurg, proud member of the Society of Brilliance, at your service. Or perhaps not. Your mind is far more complex than that of the fungi. Understandable. We are small in number and rarely stay in one place for long. My colleagues and I are working to improve conditions in the Underdark. This need not be such a dire, hostile place. It's curious to find a surface dweller here. What has brought you down so deep? Truly remarkable. But why come to the Underdark, where they hold so much power? You were infected by an illithid tadpole? It's a miracle you're still intact. You must be worried sick, but have no fear. I have a friend who may be able to assist. Omelium!
I hope this is important, Blurg. My Zirkwood samples need constant attention.
It is. This adventurer has an illithid tadpole inside her head, but she hasn't turned.
No ceremorphosis. That's impossible, but intriguing. Are you looking to have it extracted? Open your mind to me. Let us see what lurks within.
As the Meloan's mind pierces yours, the tadpole pulses with power. It feels 10 times its size. Alive, awake, almost smug.
This is most unusual. The incubation period should be complete, as should your transformation. But the lava is infused with strange magic. It appears to be in some form of stasis. No, it appears to be shielded from physical and magical influence. Moreover, the cranium has undergone severe trauma. It is a miracle the brain functions at all. Extraction would risk much. It is not ideal. The process would surely kill you. But not to worry. Should you transform, I will happily perform a new examination.
We're not going to go through the rest of the conversations here with everybody. We're just here to purchase an item. However, this first option here is only available if you read the rune slate on the Nautiloid during the prologue. You'll know which one it is because when you read it, it says that a bunch of drawings and schematics of the Nautiloid appear in your head. So while you're there, read the rune slates, and this will give you this option here, and that's going to play into something later when we finish his quest to go get the materials, the mushroom materials he needs for us.
A Nautiloid? Fascinating. I have never set foot on one myself. They were our warships during the greatest eras of the Illithid Empire. We ruled the entire astral plane from their decks. The design was lost when the Gith rebelled and ended our dominion. Of course, I am sorry I cannot assist you in its removal. But I have an idea.
Oh, perhaps I should start taking notes.
There may be a way to bypass that stasis. There are many alchemical substances that can influence the mind. A tincture distilled from a collection of rare mushrooms. They have subtle psionic influence. I would require a fresh ton of madness and Timusk spores. But be warned, in their natural state, both of these mushrooms can be quite dangerous. Timusks cause confusion in those that approach them. The tongue is self-explanatory. My formula will hamper the more harmful effects once the mushrooms are brewed into a potion. Your sanity, however much you possess, should remain intact.
I want to try something. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It's trading with Blurg here.
The Underdark, of course, although they are quite rare, and their discovery perilous. I imagine Lenore would have them in her possession. She served Mystra as a cleric. She is quite fond of her garden. Lenore has always been a lonely sort. Nature was her only companion. I offered her the chance to join the society, but she refused. Her experiments on Susa bark took priority.
May your travels be safe and swift.
Okay, so there are 2 items here in the Underdark that can help improve our chances with command drop, and the first one is here at Blurg.
Welcome back. Have you made any new discoveries? I do enjoy a good bargain. If anything in my private collection is to your liking.
Yeah, I was just very interested to see what that trade icon was going to do during the conversation, Lord Henry. We're not going to go through the other part. So the first item that we want to get here is Melf's First Staff. Melf's First Staff has an arcane enchantment. You gain a +1 bonus to spell save DC. Okay? This is the other reason that I brought my Bard down here for the bigger discount. The rest of this stuff, I don't care about for now. We'll deal with it later. I want Melf's First Staff. That's going to take me from a 55% to a 60% chance to land command drop. The second item...
Very well. I have mushrooms to catalog.
...is if you go and complete Omelim's quest... So if we go to the Arcane Tower, we pick up the mushrooms, and we come back, you can trade with him, and you can pick up the Shade Spell Circlet, which is a circlet that gives you a +1 spell DC when you are partially or fully obscured. Since the inside of the Joaquin's Rest is all partially obscured, you're going to gain an additional +1, and that takes it to a 65% chance that it can land. For now, I'm not going to spend your time going through that to get it. I'm going to take my chances with 60%, and for just the 10 minutes it took me to get here, if you're doing this without having to show all the dialogue like I'm doing with all of you, you can do this in 5 minutes. It's an easy thing to get done.
Have
right?
you spoken with...
So I'm going to travel back to the Blighted Village. I'm going to go back to my group. And there's a reason that I don't group and then travel. Because sometimes they do weird things trying to reach you. And like I say, I don't want them doing weird pathing things up here. So I'm going to group here and go to the Blighted Village. And now everybody's together.
Got a long road ahead.
And now from here, I'm going to head north.
I've seen everything.
And we're going to do our last prep work. Actually, you know what? We'll go do... No, we're not. We're going to go do our last bit of prep work and go do Joaquin's Rest before we turn to the right. So we're going to cross this bridge and we're going to go left, but before we do that, we want to head to camp. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is remove everybody from my party.
Lady of Sorrows, guide us. Did you want something? If you're sure. Fine. I'll be here whenever you rediscover your taste in company.
Okay, so we're going to remove Astarion and Lae'zel as well. Actually, we'll leave Astarion for now. I forgot about that. Remove Lae'zel.
Speak. Are you sure that's the best course of action? Confirmed. Until then, I remain at the ready.
And we're going to bring Wyll into our party.
Well met. That's the spirit.
Okay, and then we're going to take Astarion over here and just verify that we don't have any gold awaiting in Withers.
Time for discretion.
We do not.
Defender of the people.
So Wyll, unfortunately the way Wyll is spec'd right now, he's not going to be of any use for this. So we're going to talk to Withers.
Ah, I shall be here in my camp.
And we're going to
whenever
change his
as thou
class.
desire.
Okay, we're going to change Wyll to be a wizard. The cantrips on the wizard side don't matter in the slightest. Our spells here, all we want to make sure is that we keep Fog Cloud, that we take Featherfall, Enhanced Leap, and Long Strider. The other two, again, don't matter for us in the slightest. And for our ability scores. So for our strength, we just need that to not be a negative. We don't care about anything higher than that. For our dexterity, we don't care about dexterity. Constitution, and Constitution's only 14. Sorry. Our intelligence goes to 16. Our wisdom goes to 16. And then the last bit, it doesn't matter where you put it in here, whether it's dexterity or whether it's charisma. We're not going to need either of those for anything. As far as your skills go, you don't care. None of those are going to have any effect on what we're doing. But those 4 spells right there, you need to have. Now we're level up. Okay, at Wizard level 2, we're going to change our subclass to Conjuration. That gets us a Create Water once per short rest that is permanent. That water does not evaporate like the Create Water or the barrels do. This is a permanent Create Water when it creates that surface. For our spells here, again, for this, it doesn't really matter anything that we're doing in here for our spells. For our spell preparation, again, doesn't really matter what we have for any of those. Other than those 4 I had already mentioned. At level 3, we're going to take Cleric. For our cantrips, the only thing that's important here is guidance. You can do this with the necklace, if you would like the silver necklace, the silver pendant, to give you guidance instead. I find it's just as easy to do it here. And we also gain Shillelagh here if we pick Nature Domain. That's going to be important for us as well. Deity doesn't matter. Abilities doesn't matter. For spell preparation, we want Create Water and Command. For the rest of it, again, it doesn't matter. Bless gives us to attack rolls and saving throws. We're not going to, that doesn't affect command drop or anything like that. So what you pick for these last 2 don't really matter. Sanctuary could be a backup, just in case things go bad. But that's it. Okay, and for our last one, and I actually didn't record this in my notes for some reason. So let me just make sure, because I think level 4 doesn't matter. Yeah. We're going to go back to Wizard. And for here, yes, it does matter, because we need to take Knock. The rest of the stuff that we're going to take, again, doesn't matter. So our prepared spells for him are those. These first 5 and or darkness in place of fog cloud we need to have. And now we're going to remove, or we're going to take Astarion and pickpocket.
This way.
And we'll head out. I said the first hour was going to be a little strange. Okay. So now we can remove Astarion from our party.
Always a pleasure. On my way.
Need something? Oh, darling, I'm hurt. I guess it sounds awful.
And now we're going to leave camp. And here is where the fun begins. We are going to take Wyll here. We need to get one of our elixirs of Hill Giant Strength. And Wyll's going to take that. We're also going to we're going to take a few potions of healing just as a backup. Purely as a backup. And I'm going to take a potion of speed just as a backup as well. And my invisibility purely as a backup. Eric, the portraits look different because they're shape-shifted. That's why. They're shape-shifted to get the Mark of the Shifter trait. So we're going to have Wyll drink the Elixir of Hill Giant Strength. That's going to give him a +5 to strength checks. That's going to be very important because there are 3 strength checks that we have to make. One of them is absolutely critical to us getting this item that we want to get. Now we're going to separate our group and we're going to leave my bard here. We're not going to need her for any of this. Want to make sure I have all my spells visible here, because things can get a little button clicky and you can really get overwhelmed here while doing this. So Command Drop is a level 1 spell. We have 4 casts of it. We actually don't. Well, yes and no. We need to also be able to cast Fog Cloud. We can cast Fog Cloud as a level 2 spell if we need to. We absolutely have to have a cast of Knock, which is only a level 2 spell. So we need to have reserved for us a level 2 spot that we don't use. If we fail Command Drop, there's no negative consequences other than the fact that the entity we're casting it on is going to move to a different location. And every time they move, it makes it harder and harder for the system to work. Okay? So, yeah, that's a good point. I do need to do that. Thanks, Lord Henry. But yes, now his spell save DC... doesn't it list... spell save DC somewhere in here? Yes, right there. My spell save DC is 14. So he's getting from his either wisdom or intelligence, because Command Drop is a wisdom spell. His spell save DC is +3. That's why our intelligence was also brought up, even though we don't need it for anything else. It was just to be able to get us a +3 because of our multi-class situation that we are doing. 2 from my proficiency and 1 from arcane enchantment, which is from the staff. Okay. So now what we're going to do, and there's not going to be a whole lot of time to discuss what's happening in here, because again, we're on kind of a timer. I will pause where we can as we go through this, but the first part is going to be fairly tricky to do. I also need to put the mask of the Shapeshifter here and the Shapeshifter's Boon ring on him. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're shapeshifted when you start. As soon as you go up to the door or the broken gate at the start, it's going to pop you out of shapeshifting automatically. So it doesn't matter if you have it. So Featherfall, Enhanced Leap. These are all ritual spells. They do not take a spell slot. Okay, now Joaquin's Rest is spawned. Now, before you go up to the gate, ask guidance on yourself. There's a strength check entirely in the background here, and you need to pass it.
Keep pushing! Duke Ravengard could be inside. On count of 3. 1, 2.
Ravengard? He's here.
Yes! Now make yourself useful. Push, damn it, push!
There's the strength check.
Inside! Hurry! We don't have much time!
And now we're going to head in here. And we're going to go into turn-based mode. We're interested in Gauntlet Yeva here. Okay? This is the easiest spot to do this, because if it succeeds, there's a lot of places for her to walk away after it succeeds. If it doesn't succeed, then more than likely she's going to run around this way, and you can try it again here, very close quarters here, and she won't run away very far. If it doesn't succeed here, you have to run up the stairs and do it in the hallway up here, which again, very close quarters, and it might not succeed. Now I need to take just a second here and calm down, because I need to kind of explain what's going to happen here. We're going to cast Command Drop on Yeva. The reason we're going to do it is because of this great sword she's carrying. Okay? We're going to cast it on her, and if she drops it, she's going to walk slowly away from it until she gets a certain distance away. Then she's going to stop, and she's going to walk back and try and pick her sword back up. We need to pick it up before she does. However, her sword is marked as steel. If we pick it up while it's visible, she and everyone here in Joaquin's Rest is going to go hostile. And then you're in a world of hurt. Okay? If Wyll dies, he dies. It's not going to end in honor mode because my party is split. Okay? But we would prefer for it not to happen, obviously. So we need to go into turn-based mode, Command Drop. As soon as we make it succeed, we're going to exit turn-based mode and immediately cast Fog Cloud on her sword. We cannot catch her or any of the other Flaming Fist inside that Fog Cloud when we cast it. If we do, everybody goes hostile. So we need to very carefully place it when we cast it to cover it up. And then, by that time, she is going to be walking back to pick her sword back up. She will walk into the Fog Cloud to pick it up. And you need to pick it up before she does. She has a large radius. It's like she's got Mr. Fantastic or Plastic Man arms. She doesn't really have to be very close to this thing to pick it up. So when you exit turn-based mode, it takes a while for it to reset before you can enter turn-based mode again. But if you cast Fog Cloud and then you're able to enter turn-based mode again, do it. Because that will guarantee that you're going to be able to pick it up before she does. Okay? So now we're going to cast Command Drop for a 60% chance, and you're going to get disapproval from her if it lands. But she's not going to go hostile. If it doesn't land, nothing happens. And you can try and do it again afterwards. Okay, so we're going to try and land it and see what happens. Okay, so it
Everyone
worked.
Subscribes to what is mine is yours, it seems.
Okay, we got an attitude drop there. And now you need to locate her sword. It's right there. Okay, because you're not going to be able to see it, and left alt is not going to work inside the fog cloud. Okay, so what I want to do is get as close to this thing as I can, and you can see Yeva has now turned around. She's going to walk out here. Okay, so I want to get as close to this thing as I can. I'm going to exit turn-based mode and immediately get ready to cast Fog Cloud, but don't cast it until everyone has cleared out. Okay, I'm going to enter turn-based mode because she's staying out. And I haven't found it yet. Where did it go? I'm hoping it didn't move because I cast it right on the sword. I'm gonna take a break for a second. The adrenaline's going here. Did she pick it up already? Doesn't look like it. And if this doesn't work, I just don't get the sword. She might have already picked it up. I do have an action here. Yeah, she must have already picked it up. She was quick that time. Yeah, see? It's already gone. She was very, very quick that time. I've never seen her do it that quick. It was right here. She must have come in and picked it up already. So she already got it. Because it was sitting right there. And it's no longer there. Left alt. Once you remove Fog Cloud, I have an action, so I could cast Fog Cloud again. Here. But she got it really, I've never seen her get it that fast. But she must have picked it up already. So normally it's not that fast. But all that means is that I've missed out on getting that weapon from her. That is kind of a shame, because everything worked out really well. But now we just get to do the rest of it. So we'll exit turn-based mode, and she'll probably equip the sword again. I don't know as if she got it. Okay, I need to... Sorry, the adrenaline's running here. My hand's shaking. You need to give me a second. I think what might have happened... I might have accidentally cast Fog Cloud on the sword. and that might have caused it to glitch or something, because she didn't equip it again. Okay. But either way, what we're going to do now is go rescue Florrick. And to do that, we're going to immediately put the mask of the Shapeshifter on. That's going to get us an additional bonus to our checks. And we're going to go over here, we're going to move this barrel out of the way. Once we're in here, Featherfall, jump. We're going to jump up here. And we're going to go click on the door. Actually, we're not. We're going to do guidance first. Then we're going to click on the door.
I'm trapped! Someone open this door!
There's a strength check here. Now we're gaining from both Mark of the Shifter and guidance. This door is notorious. I rolled back-to-back ones on this in my testing, and my final playthrough, I rolled another one to start. So it just wants you to fail it.
The door gives way with a loud crack.
Let's move, quickly, before the whole place collapses.
The reason we go this way is because the door up top is bugged to Kingdom Come. Don't ever try and rescue Florrick by breaking down the door up top.
Counsellor Florrick, are you all right?
Scorched throat. A few hairs singed off. Nothing a bit of time and fresh air can't cure. Listen, Wyll. The Drow have taken Grand Duke Ravengard.
No, it can't be. You mean they've taken my...
Yes, Wyll. They have your father. Without him, the city faces collapse. In fact, I fear that may have been the intention of those who abducted him. Wyll, you must hold little love for your father. But please, find him and return him to the city.
Whoever holds my father is my target. I'll head west and find them. Trust me to see it through.
Thank you. And should your courage falter, remember your father's generosity. Go. You should pick up the Drow trail with ease. I will seek reinforcements and join you when I can.
Okay, here we get our choice of the 3 weapons. We're going to pick the Spell Sparkler. So Lord Henry, so she did pick it up. So, yeah, sometimes it's very, very, very fast. Okay, now we need to go rescue the Burning Man. We're going to jump in here, search this corpse, pick up the sweet key. Okay, and now here, we're again going to cast Featherfall, Enhanced Sleep, and then we're going to move over to this corner. We're going to go into turn-based mode. And the reason we're doing this is to check where our jump is able to land us. Whoops. Okay, so good. We're able to land right next to this chest on the far side, so we're real close to this gilded chest. Now we need to have an action available to us. So we're going to do something before we go in there. Okay, so we're going to exit turn-based mode here. And we're going to cast Create or Destroy Water on ourselves. Okay, and now we can jump in here and immediately go into turn-based mode. We're immune to burn damage because we are wet. We can search this chest. We can cast knock on this one. We can search this one and take the hammer raft. Okay, we'll talk about all these after we're done. Okay, and now we have our bonus action. So we want to get out of that room. Okay, you're inevitably going to take some damage through various things in there. You just are. Now, what we need to do, as soon as we come out of turn-based mode, this fire is going to start spreading. Okay? And we need to get rid of that door to get him out. Now, I can't cause enough damage to that door in one turn to be able to knock it down. It normally takes me 3 hits, and by the time you're into 3 turns, the fire has spread so far in here, it can get very, very dangerous to Benryn. So we're going to come out of turn-based mode. We're going to start attacking the door and break it. We're going to cast Shillelagh using our bonus action, and then start attacking the door and break it, and immediately talk to him. If the fire spreads too far, that's why you saved your permanent Create Water. You can cast Create Water on him and the fire will never spread to it. It's a backup just in case things go wrong in here. So we're going to exit turn-based mode, cast Shillelagh, and start wailing on the door.
Quick! Get me out!
Okay, now we're going to enter turn-based mode again and talk to Benryn. But we're going to cast... No, we don't need to cast it. We'll cast it inside there.
The fire! Hurry! Get this thing off me!
And here's our 3rd strength check. Just wanting to fail it.
Almost. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now Benryn is lying on the ground, and here's where the buggy mess can come back to bite you. Sometimes Benryn will not stand up. He just won't. And that's why, again, we have the permanent Create Water. If he doesn't stand up, immediately cast your permanent Create Water on him to protect him from the flames, and beat on him with your staff until his hit points go away. Once you get rid of his hit points, he'll stand up and heal himself and walk over here. But he stood up, so we're good.
Everyone. Mary.
Okay. And now we can head back into the kitchen. Because now I want to start searching the kitchen here. And going to cast Longstrider, and I'm going to go into turn-based mode. Again, picking items up while you're in turn-based mode does not cost an action. Searching things like that does, and you'll kind of see as we go through this. But I want to pick up as many of the camp supplies in here as I can, but this fire is going to start spreading in here, and it's going to get very, very hard to maneuver around. It's easier just to do this in turn-based mode. Yeah, that's my fault. Should have moved that beforehand. And again, moving objects in turn-based mode does not cost you an action, it just costs you movement. That was probably a mistake going that way, but... And we're just going to work our way through the kitchen here real quick. And this is just to pick up as many camp supplies as we can out of here. We're also going to pick up everything else because we can sell it all. And all it's causing us is movement. I need to be dashing. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay, so we're just going to keep looting these. And I know, not the most intriguing gameplay here, ever. If our inventory fills up, or our carry capacity fills up, just transfer items either to camp, or to your other character.
What have we here?
Because in honor mode, and this part I hate, because you have to move around this table. And we're going to use our bonus action here to take a healing potion. And this is what I mean about moving around this table. It's just the dumbest table in history. Okay, so now we're going to make our way out here. And we're going to make our way over into these two rooms next. want to drag at least this one barrel with us. Okay, and here's where things are going to get really dangerous. Is in this room. Okay, if you need to cast Create Water on yourself just to get out of this room, you still have 3 spell slots to be able to do it with. So don't try and get yourself killed in here. And the Create Water can be a little bit buggy in here. Oh, that was Destroy Water, sorry. I don't want to walk forward. Okay, so we are really at this point just going to make our way out of here. There's not a whole lot left in this room. But we'll pick up whatever we can on our way out. Because there's more here. There's some up here. But we're not going to go in there and get those. Okay, and now we'll exit turn-based mode. Alright. So, that is the time-sensitive portions of Joaquin's Rest. It's difficult to go through. But there's a lot of good items here, as long as, like I say, you can work around the whole randomness of it and the whole bugginess of it that can pop in, because honor mode runs, if Joaquin's Rest goes hostile, you can end honor mode runs. The reason I say never go through this door up here, and we can actually go back in there now. And go up here. Okay. This door here there are holes in the floor around here, and the flaming fist, when they are all grouped up around this thing, you can very easily miscast Eldritch Blast, or ranged attacks can sometimes hit one of the flaming fist, even though you are physically aiming at the door when you click it and release it. There was even a story of a guy who came up here and shot, and he shot it from back here. And because he had the outlines turned on, there was a flaming fist standing down underneath this, and because he could physically see him through this hole in the floor, he shot him by mistake. Even just melee attacking this door can cause sometimes this door to explode, like these do. And if it happens, all the flaming fists go hostile. And then you're stuck in this building surrounded by hostile flaming fists who are all level 4 or 5. And your chances of exiting are rather slim. So I do not ever recommend using this door. This door, just like the elevator in the Gauntlet of Shar, is just notorious in honor mode runs. Just don't touch that door. Go into it the way I did. You've got high strength anyway, if you have taken the elixir of Hill Giant strength. So just go over and move this barrel out of the way. You can attack the barrel if you don't have high strength, but my recommendation is, because you have 3 strength checks here, just move that barrel out of the way and go up the back way. As far as that room on the 2nd floor, we entered into it the quickest way you possibly can to get to both chests. And that's key, because as soon as you land in that room, the fire is going to start. Even if you didn't break the doors, the fire is going to start. If you come in through the door, if you break the door and it explodes, you can get caught in that explosion blast. It knocks you down to the bottom, and then that chest burns up and the stuff in it disappears. And that sort of stuff. So it's not worth it to chance it. Just come in a different way to get into that room. Okay. The rest of the stuff we're going to do here in Joaquin's Rest, we can now do with our entire party. So we're going to get rid of Wyll. And we can reform our party. We will just leave Wyll here. We're going to strip him of his items. Okay, and then all of this we'll send to Lae'zel, all of the camp supplies. We will send to camp. Sweet Key will stay, and now Wyll is back to normal where he was. And we can reform our party.
We get along quite well, I think.
Yeah, Lord Henry, it is. And you can go look up what the sword is and look at it. I believe it's called Svartalby's Wound Seeker or something like that. It's a great sword. It's a +1 great sword. And it gives you a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls against any enemy that has already taken damage. So it's not like it applies only on attack rolls against enemies that haven't taken any damage or have their full hit points. It works against enemies that have taken damage, which means almost everybody. It's a much better bonus to have because it applies to almost everything you're going after. So it allows you to hit early game a lot more often, and especially if you're using Great Weapon Master all in, that helps offset that -5 to hit quite a bit, and it allows you to use Great Weapon Master a lot more often to be able to hit.
It is
so it is too bad we didn't get it. It's a tricky timing thing. Feel free in your non-honor mode playthroughs, or the modded version if you want to skip out on the achievement, to save scum that until you get it to work right.
Lead on.
I had a pretty good system for it. She was very, very fast that time. I've actually never seen her act that fast, but that makes perfect sense for my honor mode.
Lady of Sorrows, guide us. Did you want something? It seems like you have ample company already. You'll need to figure out who you can live without before I lead the way then.
So yeah, that would make perfect sense in our honor mode playthrough. Nothing goes perfectly to plan, ever. So let's check our conversations here real quick.
Did you want something?
Quite the understatement, but yes, I have it. And I'll guard it with my life. I was part of a group sent by my cloister. We were to take the artifact from the Githyanki and bring it to Baldur's Gate, no matter the cost. Though it turned out the cost was very steep. I was the only one of the group to survive. I took the artifact and fled, only to be ensnared by mind flayers before I could finish the mission. That's all I know. That's all I need to know. That's not a luxury open to many people, us included. I have my faith to turn to instead. You should find something of your own. I told you already. I surrendered my memories for the sake of the mission. Shah's secrets must be protected. Duty demands it. Once I fulfill my mission, I can have my memories restored.
And the other great thing about having all of that done with Wyll is that none of that used any of our action economy.
Yes.
We still have all of our spell slots, bardic inspirations, all of that sort of stuff. And didn't need to use any of that, even though we used quite a bit of quite a few spells to do it. And yes, off stream we did have our liaison with Lae'zel. Didn't need to show that on stream, but yes, we can call for her other times if we would like. And Will's going to have some stuff to say here.
Shit. You can put distance between you and yesterday, but you'll never leave it fully behind. Father's words. Hard to argue with them. Florrick spoke true. I'm a Grand Duke's son. Thank you. That means a lot. But I wonder, what makes a Duke of Baldur's Gate so interesting to the Drow? Even the houses of Men's Oberanzen would have little use for my father. No, this is no Drow plot. These absolute nutters, these true souls are behind his abduction. His absence alone will sow chaos in the city. If they were to infect him, he could lead Baldur's Gate to ruin. All the more reason to find him. The Absolute has seized not just my father, but the future of the Sword Coast. I know, and you're right. When I look into a mirror, I see two faces. I see the Blade of Frontiers, a man hunting the fiends who prey on the weak and claw at the coast. and I see Wyll Ravengard, a memory of a memory, a man who belongs to the past. I wanted you to know the blade, not the shadow he left behind. I'm all for it. Not so enchanting as you'd think. The Portiers, the Caldwells, they were the blue bloods hosting the fancy balls and drinking from gold goblets. Father's the son of a blacksmith, born with barely a coin in the coffers. He made a name for himself among the Flaming Fist, brave as Baldur and stubborn as a deep Rothay, daring, outspoken, but hardly posh. I spent more time dueling with Father than I did rubbing elbows with lords. Not to say I didn't develop a taste for good wine and the talent for courtly dance. Yes and no. Father taught me the 4 pillars of power: courage, insight, strategy, justice. He reckoned I'd follow in his footsteps. First as a fist marshal, then as a duke. Vanquish evil, maintain order, save the world. But a duke makes bedfellows with more monsters than he slays. Father called it diplomacy. I called it hypocrisy. In the frontiers, there is no posturing, no diplomacy. I slay monsters, I don't consort with them. Well, not when I can avoid it.
Okay, and last is Gale. Looks like Gale has the Arcane Hunger trait here.
My condition is worsening again. I need to consume some powerful magic or it may become volatile.
Let's see what we have in our inventories. So we're probably going to give him the Moondrop Pendant. Oh no, we have the Ring of Color Spray.
Thank you. It is a strange experience. Each time anew. Like a lost soul is spelunking through the darkness that is me, only to be sacrificed on the dread altar of the heart. Somehow the second artifact hasn't had the effect of the first. It's somewhat relieved the discomfort, but I fear my hunger hasn't quite... The magic isn't having the effect it should have. It's not like the last time, like a rainstorm that quells a forest fire. It merely drizzles. The embers still sizzle, the fire remains undefeated. I'm not certain what's going on, but nothing good. Please, I need to think. I need to retrace my steps to a glade of calm and think. Thank you for the artifact. A great deal of trouble it was too. A great deal of trouble indeed.
Okay. Actually, you know, I may have messed that up. Because going to my camp counts as a fast travel.
Vile little parasites.
Given your own nature, are you really the one to judge?
I didn't think about that. So I might have messed that up. If I did, oh well. He might be dead. Or he might be gone. I don't know if him sitting out there in that spot protects him or not. I can't remember. We want to come out here and open up the waypoint.
Great God, Helm. Allow us peace in this plane and beyond. Teach us care when we would be ready.
Okay, he's still here. Good. You just have to rescue him before you take a fast travel. Okay, so you can see that we can talk to Merilith, and if you talk to Merilith while he's here, I don't know who's got it. Shadowheart does.
You're a medium? You're gonna speak to her? Could you ask her something for me? The dowry. She'd know where it is. It's for her sister's wedding. Miri had it when she ran out.
Dowry for sister in barn.
The barn? She must mean one of the empty buildings behind the inn. I trust you to get it for me. I can't leave her.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Finding husband Benryn inside. Door locked. Trapped. Fire. Merilith. Farmer. From Eltergard. Traveling. Sister's wedding. Inside. Room. Top floor.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so he wants us to head, or she wants us to head out.
I'll take this way. Allow us peace in this plane and beyond. Teach us care when we would be
And we don't need to do this
certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken.
with everybody. I have the pendant
I
here.
have such a headache. Time to press ahead.
Great God, Helm. Allow us peace in this plane and beyond. Teach us care when we would be reckless. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken.
No.
Surprised this hay hasn't gone up in flames yet.
Come on. Oh, critical fail, of course. The DC on this is 0. And I failed it. Larian. There is no natural 1 failure on skill checks in 5e rules. Come on. You're killing me, Smalls. Sorry, that's another movie reference that y'all can go look up. But you're killing me, Smalls.
Better get to it. There's something hidden here, in the hay.
And again, yes, if you've talked to Merilith, the DC to pass this is 0. If you just come back here and do it without talking to her, in his presence, this DC is 15. But it resets it to 0
Still breathing.
when you're
Despite
here.
everything.
So here's the dowry ring. The gilded chest is worth 20 gold. Weighs 5 pounds, but not all that big a deal. And now the wooden tubs we can't add.
One day I'll catch a break.
Okay, so we'll go around the back and we'll search out here while we're here.
Something good here, I hope.
Okay. Okay.
Is that blood? No, never mind. Nothing interesting buried here. Nothing interesting buried here.
Thought, oh, it might be right over here. My fault. Yes. Okay, so we'll finish searching these barrels, and again, honor mode, so taking everything. Just easy to click the take all button.
No traps, please.
And sell it all later. No. I don't want them walking through the flames back there, because they most assuredly will. We are not going to deal with this. We are going to go over here, though, and have a conversation.
Monsters everywhere. Kill. No. You're not one of them at all. I was ready to run you through. My mistake, friend. An attack. Monsters. Little ones and taller ones. They took the shiny one. He killed many. Yes, it was screaming, waving around its metal. I made him stop screaming. Him? He was the biggest. Now I'm the biggest.
Okay, and more searching inside here. And we'll head back.
Great God, help me. Allow us peace in this plane and beyond. Teach us care when we would be reckless. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken, and so is it done.
I'm ready. On I go.
Alright. So let's go talk to Benryn and finish that quest off.
Build my castle with
And then we can start exploring the rest of Joaquin's Rest here. A few more things that we want to loot and take a look at.
Very well.
Miri. No. Gods, no, no, no. You should have stayed. You should have been with me. No. No. Why didn't you run? Why didn't you hide? This is all my fault. We were arguing. She ran off. If I just kept my mouth shut about that bloody dowry, she'd still be here. You did. Please. She'd want her sister to have it. I know this doesn't change anything, but it helps. Thank you. I need some time alone with her. To say goodbye.
And of course, Astarion is going to disapprove of that. That's just who Astarion is. Okay, now you still need to be very careful when you're in here because Merilith is marked as steel. Here we go with more of these tables.
What's in here?
Okay, and again, just like always in honor mode, we're going to loot everything that isn't tied down that has any sort of acceptable gold to weight ratio. Okay, you're not going to pick up a cauldron which weighs 10 pounds and it only sells for 1 gold. That doesn't make any sense. But you do want to pick up things that you can sell for a decent amount that aren't going to completely overload your carry weight. Now you can just pick up everything. You can ship everything off to your camp if you'd like. I'm a little bit more frugal than that, and you know what? I never noticed there was a bar of soap here. Again, 1,200 hours, my first time finding a bar of soap there. That's probably because I haven't played Act 1 in like 900 hours. And soap wasn't added into the game until quite a bit later. But now I have a way to clean off all the grime before cutscenes, if I want. So... And yes, we have more of them. Bed linens are normally okay. We'll sell off all the other soap bars. There are 2 more sitting here. Is there another one in here? Yeah, I don't think there is. I think the 2 you're talking about, Lord Henry, are the 2 that I just found. Sitting on that. Okay, buckets. And I think that clears everything out of here. Okay, don't click that flaming fist, mercenary.
Open up.
But do search the raider, and now we can again...
There's no time to waste.
Yeah, speak with the dead.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Raiding, burning, killing. Absolute wants him. Slaves, good raid. Fell, dagger, neck, stupid. Take prisoners to Moonrise.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
But the other good thing about soap bars is that they can be used and they don't get consumed. So we also have another dead drow here.
Let's see.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Zayrin. Archer. Roof. Should have seen. Male.
That answer is incredibly good by Larian. I'm not going to explain the lore behind Drow society and how it works, but that answer is exquisite. When Shadowheart asked him what his profession is, his profession is male. That tells you so much about the Drow society.
Sharmuth. Before the Absolute.
The corpse remains silent. It does not know. The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Still alive. So.
Okay, so let's just go in here real quick. clear out some carry weight and keep searching the rest of this.
So it is spoken, and so is it done.
Oh.
Excellent armor.
Stop, drop, and roll, Shadowheart.
Strange
You don't
place
run
to
around
find
when you're on fire. Even when the stupid pathing in this game takes you to walk right into it.
Great God Helm, allow us peace in this
Drow
time of
poison,
beyond.
always
Teach us
really
care
good.
when we would be reckless. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken, and so is it done.
Okay, and now here I'm going to split my group again, just to try and keep us out of the stupid flames. Okay, so inside here, a few things that we can search. Yeah, by all means, climb on top of the box to search it. Makes sense.
What's that?
What you're seeing is out here. We'll go around that way here in a minute. Nope.
That's curious.
That burrow hole is just another way in here. If you haven't the strength to to either move the barrel or break the barrel and attack it to get in here, that burrow hole is just another way to get in here. But if you can move the wine barrel, that's obviously easiest, but you can come in through this burrow hole right here if you're, again, wild-shaped or something like that. Okay, so with my strength, I'm not going to be able to get up there. No. So we'll let Lae'zel search that. Then we'll have Shadowheart cast Speak with the Dead again. Portrait of the Red Prince. Again, you're going to find these scattered all over. They're little Easter eggs. I think that's it over here. Okay, I don't think there's anything in this corridor except a book.
Securing.
Yes. Okay, and now we can search inside of Florrick's room here. Case file about Master Silver and an unholy ritual for the dead 3. You start to learn more about what's going on in the world when you start reading these things in here. Okay, just a little more searching in this room and we should be done. Walking's Rest is such a huge benefit to your early playthrough, especially honor mode, with all of the camp supplies and the random items that you can pick up. That's downstairs, I think. No, that one's stuck in the roof. And things that you can just loot and pick up to sell later. Here. There's so many things that you can get that it's well worth coming here as soon as you get a chance when you start exploring. Ah, the door. Now watch this thing explode on me. Nope. I got the non-bugged version of that door. Okay. And now if you enter into this room, you can look around in here and loot the rest of what's remaining. The flames have died down. So it will have broken a bunch of containers and that sort of stuff in here. But you still can pick up stuff. Just have to be careful where you're walking. And I don't think there's anything else in here that I need in particular. We already read the extracts in the apothecary shop. Okay, then we'll see what we can and can't pick up off this table. Okay, so that table wasn't a merry-go-round table. And I don't think there's anywhere to land over here to loot the book, so I'm not going to. Okay, and then making our way downstairs, we're just going to look around through this main room here and see if there's anything that we still need to pick up. And now with the flames died out, you should be able to walk around a little bit more and see.
Let's have a look.
Some of the stuff that the flames didn't touch. So this is your last chance to come in here and loot the rest of the stuff. If you don't pick up some of this, a bunch of it will have already burned and it will just burn away. So that's why you come in here and loot whatever you can first, rather than sitting here and waiting for the fires to die out like we did here, because half of these camp supplies won't be here, they'll have just burned up. And what we're going to do is off stream, when I do all my inventory management, I'm going to go sell all of this off. And we will see exactly how much money you get from all of this junk. People tend to not pick up any of this stuff. And then they wonder why they don't have enough money to buy items in honor mode when everything is 2.5 times more expensive than in balance mode. And it's because they're not taking just a few extra minutes to walk through and pick up all of the stuff that you can. The way the game works is it works on a percentage scale basis. So you get a discount, and you get a certain percent discount. Maybe, you know, 50% or 45% or something like that. However, it doesn't ever round... It doesn't give you partial gold pieces. So anything that you pick up that's worth 1 gold, you're always going to be able to sell it for 1 gold. And that means that all of this stuff that you're picking up, you may pick up 300 cups. That's 300 gold, no matter what your discount is, even at base level, because you can sell all of that stuff. Now, again, I'll freely admit that this isn't the most entertaining gameplay, right? So everybody watching the stream is probably like, I'm tired of watching you walk around and go click on stuff. So that brings me to a good point where I will quit clicking on stuff. I'll come back and do all this off stream if you guys won't mind. And I'll come loot the rest of this later. But I'm definitely coming back here to do this. But we'll go get in a fight, since I know that's what y'all want. We'll go get into a couple of fights here to end the stream, and then I'll come back and loot the rest of this later.
The corpse
Probably a good
regards
idea,
you
Jorval.
lifelessly. The corpse remains silent. She doesn't know.
Dead or dying. Gauntlet. Marilla. Flaming fist. Baldur's Gate.
Okay, so there are a bunch more things that we want to loot in here. You can also head around the other side around here, around the back here, and stuff to loot in here as well as this outside area. I will come back and loot all of that. We're not going to head down toward the Githyanki Patrol. What we're going to do is head over this way and get into a fight, because like I say, I know that y'all want to see a fight. That's much more engaging.
What's next? This way.
And I will also off-stream...
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Okay, so we still have both of our short rests. Also off-stream, I will come back and work out my inventory with my potions, so that they're all split. There's a bunch of more stuff to loot out and around here. Okay, what we're going to do here now, though, is... Whoops. Head to our camp, and we're going to swap Shadowheart out for both of these.
I have a lot on my mind.
We need more offense here for this.
What's on your mind? Oh, nothing would give me greater pleasure. Wonderful. Lead on, then.
Okay, and Gale's level up. Okay, for his feet, we don't really care that much, but I am going to, because again, everybody's going to get respecs. It's too early to really care very much about the feat selections. Oh, whoops. Yeah, Constitution. Why is it still saying that's... outstanding? Here, I want to make sure... Okay, so I've already got it. You definitely want Gale to have darkness. Not for this fight, but for an upcoming fight. As far as his cantrip, it doesn't really matter. Now, the reason that I brought Gale is because of Cloud of Daggers. Okay, that's the specific reason that we brought it. I will need darkness for later on, I just won't need it now.
Still in control. Just.
And Cloud of Darkness is especially useful.
These boots have seen everything.
For what we're about to get into here.
You've a particular way with words, Gale. Perhaps oration suits you more than battle.
There's a group of gnolls over here. We're going to sneak our way around the corner here. And we're going to split our group. We're going to start things off with the Starian, and now would actually be a great time to do that. Nope, he moved. We're going to start off with the Starian, as we normally do. We're going to wait until this Gnoll comes back, though. We want him in here. And he'll go do his little feeding thing, and then he will come back. And when he comes back, we'll kick things off. So, looks like I delayed just a couple of extra seconds there. And they were all grouped up really nicely. And then they split up into two separate groups. In honor mode, this fight isn't all that difficult. However, the ranged enemies here can just beat the living crap out of you. So you definitely don't want to underestimate this fight in any way. And that's why getting them grouped up is going to be so important here. Because we want to try and get Cloud of Daggers to land on all four of them. Because if Gale casts it, it will hit once as soon as he casts it, and it will hit again at the start of their individual turns. So he gets 2 free sets of damage from it, and that can really help this fight. So I'm not going to... This is honor mode I'm in, so I'm not going to miss this opportunity to do this. They will be grouped back up at some point. You just have to be a little patient for them to do it. But if you haven't encountered the Gnoll Hunters before, the Gnoll Hunters can enter a reckless frenzy state where they can do a multi-attack where they can shoot 3 times with their bows. They're long bows, so they're all hitting for 1d8 plus their dexterity modifiers, which are +3, and they can just one-shot you. It's just how it works. This encounter is not necessarily the most difficult from that respect, but the next encounter that you're going to have with the Gnolls down at the other end with Flind is deadly. Many an honor mode run has ended at Flind. And we just want one more Gnoll Hunter to finish eating this guy and come back here. As soon as he does, I'm going to enter into turn-based mode. Come on. This is going to turn into an Ask Me Anything chat here in a minute if he doesn't turn around. Turn around, there we go. Come back. Perfect. Okay, now if I don't get all of them, it's not the end of the world. the Gnoll Fang may be a little far out, but I definitely want to concentrate on the 2 ranged attackers here. So, doesn't matter who I attack first. I'm not going to be able to get sneak attack here because I'm out of range, but again, it doesn't matter. I don't need it. I just need to initiate combat. Okay, so now I can move Gale in and see who I can and can't hit with Cloud of Daggers. Because like I say, these two are a bit far apart, if I had to guess. Oh, they're not. I can hit all 4. Outstanding. So that's what it does, and then at the start of their next turn, they're going to take more damage out of it. So Cloud of Daggers is an easy button here for this encounter. Now I definitely want to get my Bard in front of Gale. Okay, so I'm going to do a mobile, or a slashing flourish ranged, and see who we can hit here. So I might be able to, let's get the 2 highest hit point people down even farther if we can. Further. So I can hit this one. This one is, I can't hit him. Sure. So now on the start of the next turn, or of their turn, they may all likely die. Keeping low. So with Lae'zel here, I believe we've got one more that's kind of still high, so 10 is the highest. Yeah, let's see if we can knock that down some more. Oh, of course not. 75%er. So we will knock that down with Astarion instead. Hopefully. Perfect. Outright kill. I need to turn that off, by the way. That one died. That one died. And that one died. Cloud of Daggers is very, very strong in that encounter. I mean, it's very, very strong in every encounter where you use it. But it's very, very strong in that encounter. So now we're going to move right into the next fight, which is down here.
Don't waste a step.
If this isn't important.
We're going to turn that off because he is dual wielding.
Silent as the grave.
Okay, and we're going to hold control and keep shooting if we don't get seen.
A little small talk.
I don't want you to go talk to it. Okay. So we're able to get in a bunch of damage there and kill one of the hyenas before it changed. Hello. Oh, he moved around that side. That's interesting. Almost got up to find my party.
Out of sight.
Okay, so I guess we will take care of this guy. We'll have... No, we're going to need Lae'zel. I'm at an AC of 20. I'll be able to deal with him.
Should mind my step.
So we'll move around in a flank. Come up behind him. Right here. And this way I can 1v1 him. And because of my high armor class, I have a much lower chance of taking damage here. So I'm definitely going to start off with a main hand attack, but I'm going to implement Hunter's Mark as soon as I can. But I want to get into combat. Okay, good. So I rolled well enough to get initiative.
Staying out of sight.
And now for Lae'zel.
Not one false move.
We'll just get her out of sight lines.
Quickly then. Undetected, unheard, unseen.
And I don't have a way this way either because of him.
Such an undignified position to find oneself in.
So with Gale, we know they're all melee based and they're going to come running right through here. I don't want to go too far this way, so I'm not going to chance anything. And again, with Cloud of Daggers, it's going to hit the first time, and it's going to hit again at the start of their turn. And now I can move back out of dash range for them. I'm going to leave Lae'zel where she is for when they turn around.
Survival is all that matters.
Okay, so can I? Probably can't. No, I don't even have advantage on that. Yeah. That should be enough to kill him on the next turn, hopefully.
Death is but a word away.
Perfect. Oh. Seriously? What did you roll? A 16. You needed a 16, a 75% chance to miss. That is the thing you're going to notice. For some reason, and you know, that's a good question. Yeah, for some reason, the hyenas seem to hit more than anything. Oh, there you go. Well, that's not... there's none of its allies are within 3 meters. So it shouldn't have had advantage on that. It just got lucky with the roll. But the hyenas hit quite a bit. You're going to see that next week when we go deal with the Flind encounter. And how difficult that fight is.
This way.
When it comes to trying to keep him alive.
I'll do it my way.
Oh, I hit the wrong one. Okay. Okay, well I can add sneak attack on my offhand. And Gale, drop Cloud of Daggers.
Light steps.
Nope. That was... I wasn't even clicking, or I was trying to go back and click the button that disappeared here to switch to the new... Oh boy. Misclicks will get you killed in this game. Of course. And that lost my concentration on Hunter's Mark II.
Go for the throat.
Beautiful.
Victory is assured.
At least he missed.
No choice but to keep going.
Hey, so here we are back at the bridge where we started, and we didn't do any searching while we were down here previously. So we're going to do a little bit of trash bag maintenance here.
Assume nothing.
And out of all of this, all the way down to here, trash bag. Here, we're going to split 1 bar of soap. But then all the rest of this down to here, trash bag. From here down to here, and that all trash.
Nothing hurts anymore. Anything of use?
Okay, so let's go search this stuff down here, and we're gonna have a speak with the dead conversation as well, because we're gonna learn more about this caravan here that has died.
Have I been this way? This must be where the Gnolls attacked.
And again, I will come back.
Again.
Don't kill that. You can't even click after you've already clicked it. I did that in my my tactician playthrough as well. The one barrel out here that is not searchable, and I click on it, and then you're locked into it. It doesn't let you abort it. The hyena ears are very, very important. They let you craft potions of speed, which are crucial to any honor mode playthrough.
I'll pass. Thank you. I prefer abjure.
Okay, and I don't have Speak with the Dead because Shadowheart's in my camp. We will be bringing her back, just not until after Flint. Oh, we can't because I've already used it. That's right. It's once per long rest, and Shadowheart's used it, so I'd have to long rest to let somebody else use it.
Sorrow's guide. It seems like you have ample
Before...
I was beginning to feel...
Shadowheart can have a conversation with the caravan agent here.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Tavern. Hideout. Secret. Wizard's shipment. Chest. Rugan protected it. Took it north.
can ask no more questions.
And we can keep Shadowheart with us. Doesn't matter since we're not going to be doing the Flind combat today anyway. But that opens up a new quest here. Find the missing shipment. We're going to learn more about this next week when we have the fight with Flind. And if you don't know who Flind is a Gnoll warlord. Extremely dangerous in an honor mode playthrough. He's dangerous, period, but in honor mode, his danger ramps up exponentially. But we're going to have a fight with him, and that's going to directly influence what happens with the missing shipment. And this is also going to play into Joaquin's Rest. So we have cleared out Joaquin's Rest before this continues, and that will allow us an unlimited amount of time to be able to deal with whatever we want to do inside the hideout, quote-unquote, that was mentioned. So that's all going to play into what's going to happen next week. So just a little bit of searching here, and like I say, every Gnoll or Hyena you can loot, do so, because you are going to need it. I pick up intestines as well. It's gross, but hey, they're worth 1 gold. Just like that 1 gold was. These bloated hyenas are invisible bodies. They're the ones that turned into the newborn Gnolls. There are also some skulls littered around here.
What's inside?
Okay. So now we can head back up here and we'll take a look at the corpses of the Gnolls that we left up here. More hyenas here. That letter's nothing important. And more hyenas ears. And these don't want to shut after I clicked take all. That one did. And one more hyena here. We'll see if we get lucky on the loot table, and we did. So, out of that, we picked up 13 hyena ears. At 3 of them per potion. You can see we picked up quite a bit. You combine this with a transmutation wizard, and you can double that up. So we picked up enough for 6 speed pots just right there off of the corpses. So don't forget about looting those things because they're incredibly important for an honor mode run. They're less important in other runs where you might be able to buy them all the time. But in an honor mode run, you just simply can't. They're just way too expensive. Now here, I don't want to get too far up toward this area here, but we can do a little bit more exploration here. This is back toward the Risen Road, so we'll make our way back down here toward the coast, or toward the river again. Actually, we want to head over here, and we're going to head down this way. Something very important we need down here. And I don't know if I searched these or not. I did not. I'll do it while I'm here. And I know I searched that one. Okay, now down here there are 2 corpses.
Fallen warriors, their days of glory long since past.
Whoops, with some good items here. And we've got a bunch of trash. I'm gonna keep those. And we'll just get rid of all of the trash here. And then as you make your way down here, you're going to find a few more things. And I want to... Okay, so we did perceive the flat rock. Lae'zel has the strength to move it. There should be a bloodstone underneath.
Have to keep going.
More crafting ingredients. Scroll of color spray. Eh. More crafting ingredients, and then one of the most important things in the game, and no, I don't mean the iron pan. Right here is a hidden skeleton that has the smuggler's ring on it. A +2 bonus to sleight of hand is a massive bonus to Astarion or anybody's lockpicking and or trap disarming skills. It's something that stays on all of the time while you're in the early game until you find rings that are going to be helping your combat ability instead to replace it. But when you're exploring, that is a huge benefit. That's a +2 sleight of hand there, a +1 sleight of hand there, so that's a 15% increase in our lockpicking ability. Just with those 2 items that we're wearing. So a couple of things before we end the live stream. What we picked up while we were in Joaquin's Rest. So the first is Hammerraft. Hammerraft is really good. When you jump, you deal 1d4 thunder damage in a 3-meter radius upon landing. So you don't even have to swing to do thunder damage. Now, where this becomes very useful is when you combine it with other boots which we don't have yet. Why don't I have them? Oh, I need to go look and see. Or no, is it the gloves? There it is, the Fleet Finger, sorry. Where when you dash, you can jump without using a bonus action. But even if that allows you to do 1d4 damage without any action, just by jumping, assuming that you've already dashed to get somewhere. And moving around the battlefield, this allows you to do a lot, especially with Wildheart Barbarians, who can jump all over the battlefield, and this allows them to inflict damage when they do it. It's also thunder damage, which means you can pair it with reverberation items to inflict conditions, and then stack Radiating Orb and Reverberation condition on enemies just by jumping and landing next to an enemy or a group of enemies. It also has Tenacity, so even if you miss, you're going to deal 1 bludgeoning damage, which is meh. But overall, a really decent weapon, and they've made it so that the shockwave ability is able to be toggled. when it first was showed up in the game in early access, you couldn't toggle that on or off. So then it became annoying because you'd be jumping around the Myconid colony or something, and you'd land next to a Myconid and cause damage, and everybody'd go hostile. So they allow you to turn that off, so it's like any other passive ability. We also picked up the Spell Sparkler. This is one of 3 lightning charge weapons. There is a trident, a throwing weapon, there is a longbow, and there is the quarterstaff here. But whenever you deal damage with it, you gain 2 lightning charges. Lightning charges build up over time, and when you get 5 of them, they deal 1d8 additional lightning damage on your next damage dealt. And that damage dealt doesn't have to be a melee attack. It could be ranged. It could be a spell attack. It could be anything like that. Also, when you have lightning charges, you gain a flat +1 to your attack rolls. And you deal an additional 1 lightning damage every time you're doing, or every time that you, every round, or every attack that you land does an additional 1 lightning damage. Now, the Spell Sparkler is nice because it works with spells or cantrips, which means this works just fine with Eldritch Blast, and things like that. And it works with Magic Missile. Magic Missile, when it hits, can stack up lightning charges very, very fast because each Magic Missile is an individual projectile. So the Spell Sparkler allows you to do a lot of additional damage for your spellcasters up front, where you might be better utilized with spells you're already going to be using, as opposed to getting the longbow, which means I'd give up my offhand ability to make second attacks against possibly different targets or things like that, because I know I'll just have 1 longbow here instead. So it allows me a much better utility. I think you get the most damage dealt with spellcasters than you do by using the longbow instead. I picked the trident once. I was going to try it out for a throwing barbarian build, and it works really good. It just gets outclassed very quickly by other things in the game. And it's not returning. So unless you get to a level where you're able to get Eldritch Knight, then it's really hard to use early on. But picked up some good stuff in there, so we're going to definitely hold on to those and see if we can utilize them. So off stream, I am going to go loot the rest of Joaquin's Rest. I'm going to do some inventory management. You can see right now that we have 1,600 gold. Remember that, because I'm going to come back. I'm going to loot Joaquin's Rest. I'm going to go sell it all at the Druid Grove, and we'll see how much gold we end up after picking up all this trash. So, thank you all for being here. I know the start was a little bit weird because we had our time-space GPS fixing the multiverse after last week, and it was a little disjointed at the start. Next week, we're going to be right back into it. We're going to deal with Karlach. We're going to deal with Flind. We are probably not going to deal with the Paladins, of the supposed Paladins of Tyr, just in case you're wondering. And then we're definitely going to head into the Whispering Depths and at least clear out the majority of it before we start heading into the Goblin camp to do some things in there. So next week ought to be really action-packed as well. So, as always, thank you all for the interactions in chat. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it, because without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.